How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another YouTube video. My name is Andrew. Where we left off, we had a crazy episode last episode. If you guys haven't seen it, basically what happened was I stayed on the server, or stayed on the world long enough for a lot of mobs to spawn on all this area where I didn't place down torches, and a bunch of creepers, spawned and blew up my house. But I have fixed that since, and now the objective is to finish making some cobblestone so I can build a furnace so that I can burn some oak logs, and that way I can make some torches. And now you guys are all caught up. If you guys haven't played this mod pack before, welcome to Sky Factory. The objective of this game is to complete missions through an achievement book, which I don't have anymore. It got blown up by one of the creepers, so I need to build that eventually. But they're pretty self-explanatory achievements. They're basically just progressing through a lot of these mod packs, or a lot of these mods that this mod pack has, like applied energistics and magical crops, that kind of stuff. So we'll get through that eventually, but first I got to be able to make this furnace and place down some torches, because right now there are a lot of potential for mobs to spawn. Where we last left off, nothing's crazy happened in my life. Just had a nice weekend. I'm thinking about not really making videos on the weekends and just totally, for you guys that don't know, I own a production company, a freelance production company that gets really, really busy throughout the week. So I think I might just maybe record Monday through Friday for, however long, and then come back to it on Monday instead of do it on the weekend. So hopefully that works with you guys, and that'll be probably the schedule that I'll have. And I'll set a certain time of the day through Monday through Friday where I record videos so that I can be a little bit more consistent. All right, so let's do this. All right, so we have 8 cobblestone. I put this in a furnace like this. Now we have a furnace. I can actually, maybe I can't make it a little different. Or I'll just put this here, and then perfect. So let's burn some of this useless wood tools that I don't really need anymore. And now we have charcoal. So I'll take this. Oh, that's right. That was my blocks chest. I remember. It's been, like I said, like 2 or 3 days since I played this server, so my apologies if I'm a little scattered. Okay, so boom, boom. 8 torches should be fine for now. Pressing F7, I can tell where all the zombies are spawning, so I'll just go around cleaning it up. I actually don't know the light level distance that torches have, whether it's like 7 blocks or something. Alright, and then doink. Corners. And eventually I'll put down fences or whatever to make my base a little safer, but for now it works. Let's use some more of this wood. All right. More torches. Okay. And then over here. Doink. All right, and I'm pretty sure mobs can't spawn on dirt blocks like this if there's a oak sapling on it, so I think we're fine there. This is nice. I think the base is coming out looking good. I'll just do this. Okay, symmetry is very important to me. So, well, let's see. How can I go about lighting this? Letting out my inner cinematographer. Okay. Maybe I'll make some sort of chandelier or something. I thought I had... Maybe I might have burned the fence. Let's see. Doink. Doink. All right. Whoops. Is this the old fence recipe? The better one? I'm reminding myself. Yes. Okay. All right. And then... Maybe I can't do that. How does one Minecraft? That's fine. I think these are top slabs, so I'll just, like, that works. Or maybe if I put it here. Okay, good. Just making sure that no mobs can spawn. Because that would be really bad if mobs spawned in my house again and I had to rebuild again. But that's what I like about this mod pack is that items that are so normally simple to get, like coal for torches, mean so much more. It like brings everything into perspective a lot more because of how rare everything is to get. And then you'll see eventually I'll get like an ME system, I'll get automated, all sorts of tools and tricks and all sorts of stuff. So it'll be really fun eventually. But right now, everything is a little hard to get. All right. So I asked you guys if it was okay for me to spawn in an achievement book after I got mine destroyed. I didn't hear a response. So I'm going to ask you again, is it okay for me to spawn in an achievement book after mine got blown up instead of me having to create a new grass platform and all that kind of stuff to spawn in the specific flowers I'd need to make the dye to make the book. Also, I'd need paper, which I do have sugarcane seeds, so I guess that wouldn't be that hard to make. It would just take me a little bit longer, and I wanted to be able to show you guys all the achievements that I was working on. All right, so I should have enough torches now to light up the rest of the house. Okay. 32, yeah, that's plenty. This is a little dark in here. I normally like to put them at not eye level, like one up, one higher than eye level. I can't do it up here. It's too short. It has to be exactly symmetrical. I don't know if that's a normal thing for builders to be like super design oriented. I guess it probably is. But I like everything to be absolutely symmetrical and perfect and cool looking. All right, and this is my house, guys, modeled after Sunday's base in Sims 4 or Sims 3 or something, one of those games. I need to build a pickaxe. All right. Recently, I've been trying to find a way to watch as many movies as possible, like as many new movies as possible for free. Like if there's a subscription service from one of these chains, one of these movie theater chains that gives me a certain amount of free tickets a month or something like that. And what I've discovered is that AMC might be the best deal. AMC has a subscription called AMC Stubs A-List or something. It's a really weird name. And through that, you get, I think on the most expensive tier, which is like $40 a month or something, you get 4 free movies a week, I think. Like 4 free movie tickets a week. But it only applies to one person. You can't, if you wanted to watch movies with other people, they'd have to buy their tickets individually. So, why did I put one here? Did I mean to do that? So that's a little rough. Another one that it's a draft house theater. It's one of those dine-in movie theaters where you can order food while you sit down, that kind of thing. And they have servers and everything. That theater near my house is, I think their subscription model is, it's like 2 movies a month or something, but you can pay a little extra. I think it's like a $1 extra a month or something. It's a subscription tier that you can add as an infinite amount of guest add-ons to it. And that might be worth it because I've been buying a lot of movie tickets for my podcast because I review movies on my podcast with guests, and it's expensive. It's like, because I always like the expensive formats. I always do like the IMAXs or any of that. Oh, I guess this is already there. Just double checking. IMAX is my favorite format to watch movies in, just because it's, for you guys that don't know, IMAX, it's the best quality image ever created by human beings, and that's judged by how accurate it is to the human eye. So IMAX film through an IMAX film camera captures more detail, more ranges of colors, more everything than any other camera ever created. And that's why it's so expensive to get an authentic IMAX experience, because what they'll do is they'll say they'll have IMAX theaters, but they're digitally projected. A true IMAX theater is an IMAX theater projected on IMAX film with an actual IMAX film projector. But there are only like 20 of those theaters in the continental US. And the tickets are very expensive. Like I bought Dune Part 3 tickets, 8 months in advance. The movie comes out in December. And it was like, I think it was $80 for 2 general admission tickets. So, a lot. But, I think it's worth it because the format, it's like you're literally there. And, that's something that can be said about any movie with its image quality, but I'm an image quality hound. So, even if a movie has a little bit more depth or a little bit more detail in the shadows, I'm willing to pay extra for it. And that's just who I am. A lot of people don't care about it, which I don't blame them. All right, so this is what I need. So because I got this, I won't cheat and spawn in an achievement book, but I needed a grass seed so that I can build a grass platform. So I'll do that now. It's also one of the achievements to, maybe it isn't on the original Sky Factory, which is the one I'm playing, but I know it is in later versions where you need to spawn in, you need to create a platform for non-hostile mobs 25 blocks away from your base, which this is my base, so, or 25 blocks away from the place that you spend the most time. So, all right, I think I have enough here to start. So I'll build it out. I like the symmetry of the map so far, the way I have it constructed. Whoops. Let me delete. Can I delete these? I've never learned how to use this map. I think you use the delete. Yeah, okay. All right, so I'll go off in this direction here. All right, so 1. I've fallen off very many times building on slabs in this mod pack, so I'm going to take things extra slow. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have to be very, very slow. I've fallen off way too many times. I am shifting, but it doesn't seem to help. All right, here we go. I'm almost there. All right, I think I had 30 slabs in my inventory, and I used 25 of them, so that should be far out enough. And then let me get these dirt blocks. I need to make as much dirt as possible is what I'm learning, because I need to be able, not only do I need to be able to make this grass platform, which is what I'm going to do next, but I also need to sift a lot of dirt in order to get cobblestone to start progressing the mod pack. So, this is the tricky part, because I have to build out a little more. Okay. The risks have been mitigated. All right, and then what you do from this mod ex nihilo is you right-click these dirt blocks, and they turn into grass blocks, and it'll spread out to all the surrounding dirt. So now what I need is I need a lot of dirt blocks to build a bigger platform, and then I need bone meal to right-click the grass, and it'll grow all the flowers I need. It's a harder chance, but it'll eventually happen. I need to build more barrels is what I'm learning. So let's do that real quick. All right, so doink doink. All right, doink 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 doink. Yeah, that should be fine for now. All right, I'm going over here. I'm going to have to make this platform less narrow because it's kind of freaking me out. All right. See how it kind of turned the dirt into grass blocks there? All right. But yes, you know, it's not that I'm disappointed with the engagement of these videos. I'm getting plenty, and again, it's not, I don't really care about the numbers. What I care about is that I'm contributing and that is valuable to you guys. Scaly again commented, which I appreciate. And they just basically said that they were busy with school and all sorts of stuff, so they couldn't keep up to date with the videos, which is fine. I don't blame him. But it's all the other people really that haven't really given any effort to trying to communicate that is a little frustrating. Which I get it. I mean, TV it's the leisure exercise. I just thought that that's what made this kind of TV a little bit more fun and interesting, is that there was always some sort of communication or something. So really, guys, let me know. What's your favorite colors? What's your favorite whatever? I really want to communicate and build a relationship with you guys and make the content that you guys want me to make and do all that kind of stuff. So I think some version of it is working, it seems, which is good. But there's no such thing as a perfect piece of content, and it can always be improved. And I've learned that I can't just find those things myself. I can't just trust my own intuition 100% of the time because, you know, it's faulty. And when you get a second opinion, when you get a third opinion, when you get a fourth opinion, when you really nail down what it is that you do for other people and what you do for yourself, it really improves everything that you do, in my opinion. So let me know. You know, don't be afraid to chat or talk. I'll never attack you guys or say anything crazy or whatever. At least I'll try to avoid to. And I think we'll have a good time. So let me actually open this up to mimic what I have on the other side. I know I'll need stairs at one point, but this should work. Of course, I broke the torch. Sure, why not? All right, and then I've got more dirt that I can add over there. Whoa. Oh my gosh, that scared me. I forgot that I took away those slabs. That's why you have good reaction times. Here we go. Okay. So I'll build this out even more. And I'll get to the point where I can start making that. All right, obviously we have a problem here. I need to move some of these things. Okay. I'm going to move this into this corner. Wait, no, that's where my stairs are. Put it up here. Can I still? Nope. I've never liked that thing where you can put slabs on top of chests and still open them, but you can't put blocks, which makes sense, but it's not ideal to me. There we go. That's better. Maybe I'll make the whole floor out of furnaces eventually. That'll be cool. All right. I'll break this. But yeah, so not too much has gone on in the last 2 days besides me looking into more movie stuff. Work has been annoying. It's just trying to start a business from never having started a business and trying to run it. You know, I can see why people just would rather get a 9-to-5 and work for someone else for the rest of their life, because it's much more. It's not easier per se, but it's a lot more consistent. You deal with the same kind of problems most of the time, and you don't have to get certain registrations, and the business itself takes on the majority of the risk. So as an employee, you don't really take on that much risk. You just You have your only real risk in your job is, unless it's like a dangerous job where it's like you're a cop, the risk that you take on is obviously greater. But if you're working like at a McDonald's or something, you're not taking the majority of the risk. The company is. They're taking the risk of hiring someone who potentially could be, bad for business, bad for, law enforcement, whatever. And you get to kind of just take advantage of the company hiring you and get the minimum wage or whatever you're getting paid. And that idea is becoming far more increasingly attractive to me, just because I'm an ambitious person that likes to achieve things and likes to do things, be in business for myself, all that kind of stuff. But I'm also a lazy person who likes comfort and likes to not be constantly changing up strategies and having to deal with all sorts of, uncertainties. And business is like, if any personality is going to be in their own business, I am up there in terms of what I tolerate and what I enjoy. I have the personality for a business. I have the wherewithal. I have the drive, but I really just like comfort, and I don't like to be uncertain about most things. And that's what I'm learning about what it means to be a quote-unquote man, or what it means to be an adult. It means that you're willing to live with a lot of unnecessary uncertainty. And, I think that's part of growing up. So I think I just really need to get used to it, and it'll eventually pan itself out, and it'll eventually be worth it. But for those of you who are younger, if I have a young audience, I haven't looked at the metrics to see what audience I'm attracting, but stay young, stay in school. Don't be that was the mistake I made, was I was too quick to grow up, because growing up it's not comforting. It is not certain. You're certain of way more when you're younger. If you have a, relatively good childhood like I did. Your mom's going to make your meal, or, your dad's going to make your meal. That you have to go to school, that your friends are going to be online on Saturday or whatever. You don't get any of that as you get older. As you get older, life gets more and more uncertain, and you just have to deal with it. And, I have always wanted to be older. That was my whole thing, is I hated being a kid. Being a kid meant being not cool, meant not having things, meant regressing, didn't mean progress, it didn't mean achievement. And I always just wanted to learn how to drive as fast as possible. My bass kind of looks like a guitar. That's kind of cool. Maybe I'll keep that. But I always hated being a kid. Never liked being a kid. I didn't have very many friends growing up. So it was kind of just I can't wait to be an adult and go out into the world and do something. But then I realized doing stuff is really, really hard. So I couldn't not recommend it enough, being an adult. Even though there are certain advantages in it, being a kid is just, I think that's what we all know deep down. There's a religious reason behind it as well. The Bible talks about being, you'll never enter the kingdom of heaven if you're, there's something to do with being like a child of God or something. And you need to be innocent, and you need to have the spiritual, you need to be like a child to enter the kingdom of God, or something like that. And I think there's some truth to that, about how innocence is peace. And we should all strive to be innocent, and we should all strive to be good, like children are good, for the most part. Obviously, there's not good children, but for the most part, babies are pretty innocent. And there's nothing wrong with babies. So, and we deal with all sorts of things from childhood in our adult life that just haunt us forever. That's where a lot of fetishes come from. That's where a lot of addictions come from. And it's just sad to have to deal with it. But we'll get through it. And that's why we need conversations. That's why we need to talk about it. That's why we need to have channels like mine, hopefully, that give a voice to you guys to speak about what you're going through, and we can help each other as people. And that's what I love about these games, is that it's a great way to bond over something. What I've learned about, I think that there's obviously differences between men and women and boys and girls. And I think as a man, bonding has been a big thing and has been a big breakthrough with things. Bonding over, hunting, or bonding over video games, or bonding over any of that. Having something to do with each other really helps us like break down our emotions and feelings and all sorts of stuff. Versus, I don't know if it's exactly the same for women. I think that they're just willing to do it anywhere, any place. Which honestly, I wish I had, and I wish most men have. But it's fine. We're all different for the most part, and there's commonalities, but it doesn't mean that just because you're a girl that you can't like playing games or something. But I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to end this video soon. We're right at the 28-minute mark, just about. I want to show you guys this. I wish I had a watering can to make the grass grow quicker. But what we need is I know we need a rose or a poppy, whatever you call it. How do you get blue dye? From a bluebell. I don't know if we're going to get that or when we get that, but we need lapis, which lapis is pretty easy to get eventually. But we need a rose, first and foremost. Lapis, I think you get from sifting gravel. Yeah, 5% chance. So if I right-click bone meal on this grass patch, it'll spawn grass, but it'll also spawn... Okay, so there's our rose. Let's see if we can get that blue thing. Another rose. Another dandelion. Another rose. Come on, I want the blue, whatever you call it, the bluebell. Bluebell ice cream, that's what I want. No, it doesn't look like it's going to happen. Well, we got all these seeds. Magical crops, crops and food, blueberry seeds. Cucumber seeds. I've never played this version of Magical Crops, to be honest. This is like the original version of Magical Crops, so it'll be interesting to see how that works. Because if I go to the NEI... Alright, if I go to the NEI and then I look up Magical Crops... they don't have the stone, like the infusion stones, I don't think. Which is, I think, Magical Crops 2 or something. So you just have to get seeds like this. But I can't, I'm trying to click essence seeds, and it's not giving me the crafting recipe. So I'm assuming that you just get essence seeds from doing what I just did, because that's how I got all these seeds. Cucumber seeds, chili seeds, raspberry seeds. All right, so it'll be interesting to progress through that mod and maybe look up some information on it. But that'll be it for this episode, guys. Thanks for watching. We achieved torches, which is the big thing about this episode, I guess. Obviously the content of this show and my channel isn't very substantial, but that's not really what it's trying to be. So if you guys want, real conversations, about what I'm going through and the opportunity to speak your mind and talk and communicate with a content creator, subscribe, like, comment, do all that fun stuff. I will see you guys probably tomorrow around the same time. I tend to record around 11 or 12 in the morning, or around noon-ish, just because that's where the lighting is best. I don't have any artificial lighting. I use my Windows And if it's really dark, then like, you can't see me. So that's why I normally record earlier. But we'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching.